Welcome back. In this video, I will show you a couple of more environmental objects which influence gameplay, and I will start this tutorial specifically with security cameras and monitors. Security cameras in Intravenous are used to make stealth challenges a little bit more difficult in certain places. Of course, this comes with the caveat that you should not be making a patrol route too difficult with security cameras unless that is what you intend to do as a level designer, as having a lot of patrols and security cameras covering one route can make that particular route too difficult and will influence players to either completely forego that route or just start shooting people. Now, in order to set up a security camera, we will need to use the tile grid objects placement mode, and we will need to place two types of objects. The first one is the security monitor. This is the place where an NPC will be assigned to. He will sit behind this desk and watch the security cameras. Now, we don't have enough space for a security monitor right now, so I will go ahead and expand this building and continue on when I'm done. Okay, so I have expanded the building a little bit and I have placed a security monitor here. And the one thing you need to keep in mind with security monitors is that when you assign an NPC to it, the NPC will always play the sitting down animation. In order for everything to work properly, we need to place a chair in front of the monitor so that it looks like they're actually sitting. But we must make sure to make it a map_decor class object, as an obstacle has physical properties and it will block the NPC from pathfinding to the monitor itself. Since the security monitor is an obstacle, it does not automatically place monitors or phones or keyboards on top of the sprite itself. That's up to the level designer. Maybe the level designer wants to set up some kind of unique visuals on the security monitor. That's why the table itself is what does the security monitoring functionality, while the rest of what's on top of it is pure decor. Now that I have placed the security monitor, I've basically increased the value of this room altogether. Not only does it have 4 of these guys and a suppressed pistol, there's also the security monitor, which means that there's going to be a security camera somewhere which the monitor takes control of. Which means that this room altogether from a stealth challenge perspective is now a lot more valuable. Since this room has some gameplay value, we want to reward the player for taking the time to clear it out by placing a money pickup here. Of course, this is not necessary, and I simply do it as something to reward the player for going someplace where he doesn't need to be. Okay, now that we have the security room ready, I simply double check whether the chair is aligned with the direction in which the NPC will sit down. I can see that it needs to be moved just a little bit to the left, like so. And now I simply can either reuse an existing NPC to assign to the security monitor, or I can place a new NPC altogether. Because we have all our NPCs occupied with other tasks already, I will create a new NPC, give him something simple like a pistol, make him experienced, and assign him to the security monitor. Now, a security monitor is an interactable object, which means that we simply right-click on the NPC we wish to assign it to, and in the Interact Object ID field, we enter security monitor. Okay, now that the NPC sits down on the chair properly, this room is nice and finished. But now we need to place a security camera that the monitor controls. For that, we once again switch over to the tile grid objects placement mode and navigate to security camera class. We also need to pick a fitting spot for the camera. Just randomly placing security cameras will make the stealth routes too difficult. We don't want that. For that particular purpose, I will go into the patrol path setup and I will take a look at where the patrol routes are not overlapping and decide where I want to place the camera. Judging by these two patrol routes, we know that the most dangerous spots for the player are here and here. This patrol goes all the way over here, this patrol looks out the windows, and this guy patrols like so. So this area altogether is fairly difficult from a stealth standpoint, so there's no reason to place a security camera here. Instead, we might want to give the player a bit of a challenge if he chooses to take out the guys from the back and place a security camera here, for example. We'll place it down on the world, and now we need to play around with the minimum and maximum angles. These two angles dictate which directions the camera will rotate in. So, as we all know, an angle of 0 points to the right, so we set the minimum angle to 45 and the maximum angle to 135. You will notice that when adjusting the camera angles, it will automatically position itself to the middle of the minimum and maximum angles set. Since the camera is now positioned directly downwards, we know that its cone of view is between here and here, a 90-degree cone. And now that we have a camera set up, we right click on the security monitor, we click on enter click to add mode button, and we simply select the camera. Now that the camera is selected, as long as this NPC looks at the monitor, he will give instructions on whatever it is that he sees on the cameras to nearby enemies. If goons have radios, then he will reach out to goons with radios. If no goons have radios, he will try to reach out to enemies that are nearby. If no goons have radios, he will try to talk to nearby goons. Since we want everything to work properly and for our goons here to become alert properly, we'll give radios to all of them. We do this by right-clicking on the goons individually and selecting the radio checkbox. Now that they all have radios, let's see whether the camera works properly. As you can see, I was spotted by the camera and goons were immediately alerted. Not all of them, but some. Okay, so we have a security camera and we have someone watching it, but we want something else here now. We want to place a dumpster to dump a body inside. Dumpsters in Intravenous allow you to place only one body inside of it. This is done specifically to disallow players from easily taking care of the consequences of their stealth screw-ups, so to speak, and allowing them to place a bunch of bodies in a single dumpster. Additionally, you should probably use dumpsters sparsely, as having a lot of them makes stealthing inconsequential and players can just dump all the enemies they see into dumpsters and never have to worry about their bodies being awakened or found ever again. So for that purpose and for it to fit in terms of context, I will place a dumpster here close to these ones. I will now knock out the guard, pick up his body, and put him in the dumpster. Okay, now that we have a dumpster here for one body, we might want to look into a different type of door, a keycard door. In the Intravenous campaign, I use keycard doors to break long sightlines, or to cordon off access to specific areas and force the player into either breaking the door and causing noise, or finding a keycard and opening the door quietly. In this case, let's say I want to cordon off this area so that the player has a harder time moving, for example, from here to here, or from here to here. For this purpose, I will slightly modify the walls outside, and then I will switch to the object placement mode, navigate to keycard door. I will select the metal door type because metal doors are indestructible, and I will place that metal door here. Now that the keycard door is placed, we need to assign the specific keycard ID to it. That particular keycard will be able to open any door with the ID we assign to it. So for this instance, let's call it back entrance. Now that we have a keycard door, we need to place a keycard somewhere. The first thing we can do is we can simply place a keycard inside the security office. We place the keycard, however it has no key ID, we need to assign it ourselves. The other thing we can do is we can assign the keycard ID to some of the goons patrolling outside. For example, this guy. We can assign a back entrance keycard to him, and now when we knock him out, he will immediately drop that keycard. And we will be able to open this door. Lastly, let's equip this office here with sprinklers. For that, we'll once more go into the Telgrid Objects category, scroll all the way to the Sprinklers object class, and we'll place a couple of them in the office. One in the director's room, and two in here. Now, sprinklers on their own cannot be triggered. For that, we need to place a smoke detector. We'll place one by the entrance, and one in the office here. Smoke detectors detect fire in a large radius, but sprinklers extinguish fire in a smaller radius. That's why you need fewer smoke detectors than sprinklers. Now that these smoke detectors have been placed, we simply assign the sprinklers to them. In this case, I assign all sprinklers to all smoke detectors. Once any of these smoke detectors goes off, it will trigger all the sprinklers. As you can see, sprinklers work just fine, but the surface itself was very flammable, and so the whole office burned down before the sprinklers could extinguish the fire. Okay, so we can throw a Molotov cocktail, burn the whole thing down, and then the sprinklers will turn on and cause noise. But what if we want to trip the fire alarm without actually setting fire to anything? For that, we once again go into the target objects category and we switch over to alarm panel fire. We can place a panel here, and what we need to do now is we simply assign the sprinklers to the alarm panel that it will control. Once it's in place, we spawn ourselves in, pull the alarm panel, and the sprinklers go off. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video. In the next video, I will cover scenes as well as talk text, which will be used for the scenes. Thanks for watching. Until next time.